Okay, so for this afternoon, we will be learning advanced differentiation rules, which includes the derivative of exponential, logarithmic, trigonometric, and inverse trigonometric functions. But don't worry, they may seem difficult to listen to, but don't worry, they are actually easy. And so let's start with actually the chain rule. The chain rule, from the word itself, I will not be dwelling more on how the chain rule is done. Okay? But I will be teaching you the simpler way na lang. Okay? And that's the general power rule, which we will be doing after this. So just for us to be familiar with chain rule, when we say chain rule, from the word chain, if you can imagine a chain necklace, tuki-tukiya, connected. They are connected to one another. And that's the main concept of chain rule. Because it from a simple function, getting its derivative, it will become a little longer because of the chain rule. Because after getting or applying one concept here, we will get a derivative of the function really. Okay? So let's just differentiate the terms or the functions that are differentiable using chain rule and those that are not. Let's focus on these examples. These were similar to the examples we had last week with the basics. Okay, here, this is the constant multiple rule. You know this already. And what's the process here? You just get the or multiply 2 by the constant or the coefficient 3. So this becomes 6x. Tama? Just a review. This is naman sum and difference following the process of getting the derivative of each term. That's very easy. This one naman, it's a product rule. U dv plus v du, if you can recall, right? And then this one naman is the quotient rule, wherein we have v du minus u dv over v squared. So yon, those are the different functions that are differentiable using the basic rules. But not all functions or not all given are just the same as this. Because sometimes, look at this, from this type of function, they become differentiable by chain rule if and only if the whole term will be enclosed and raised to a specific power. In this case, 3x squared was raised to 5. Therefore, this will now be solved using chain rule. Okay? Next, what about this? This one, from a simple function, it is now raised to a cube. Therefore, this can now be solved using chain rule. Similarly, in here, from the product rule, still this is a product rule. However, meron siyang kaakibat na konti. Just like what was explained a while ago in the introductory video, this one is raised to a second power. Therefore, when we get the derivative of this, the u, and this is the v, when we get the derivative of u, we have to apply the chain rule. Okay? And then when we get the derivative of b, it's just a normal constant multiple rule. Okay? And of course, similarly with this one, our quotient rule is raised to a second power. Therefore, we will also be applying chain rule in this problem. Okay? That's the concept of chain rule. So in short, whenever we see a function raised to a specific power, then that's already a clue that we need to use the chain rule. And how do we do the chain rule? This is actually the long process of chain rule, but I would like to skip it because I would like to focus more on this. This is the friendlier version of the chain rule here. And how is this? Bakit sa chain rule? Because after applying the concept, ito, parang katulad lang nung y is equal to u raised to 5 or x raised to 5. Okay, when you get the y prime, you need to put this or multiply it in your coefficient. That becomes 5. Similarly, your n will go there. Kaya siya mayroong n doon. I hope you can follow. And then, copy your u, which is x. And then, 5 minus 1. Same process. Tama? And this is what makes it chain rule. Because after getting this process, the constant multiple rule process, we have to multiply it by du, the derivative of your x, which is, in this case, it's just 1. Kasi constant multiple lang to or power rule lang siya. But just like what I told you, this time, hindi lang x yung i-consider natin because it will already be a binomial, trinomial, or more terms. Okay? Now, let's have this as an example. So, yung du, the du here actually, the getting of the derivative of u is the reason why it's called chain because mayroon pa siyang continuation after getting the first process. Okay? That is the explanation of chain rule in layman's term. Okay, let's have this as an example. This was explained or presented using the chain rule, the long process of chain rule, but let's apply this or solve this using our general power rule. Okay, let's have this. This was already explained a while ago in the introductory video. So again, let me just emphasize that this will become your u. And this is your n as usual, your exponent. Okay, so to get the derivative of this, we will have g prime of x will be equal to, same process, this will go to your coefficient. So that becomes 6 times, copy your u, which is 4x plus 1. And then subtract your coefficient, subtract your exponent, just like what we're doing whenever we are doing our derivative. So 6 minus 1, that becomes 5. Got it? Easy. Next, let's multiply it now with the derivative of the one inside your parenthesis or the derivative of your u. Again, in this case, your u is your derivative. And what's the derivative of 4x plus 1? U prime will become, what's the answer? Type it in the chat box, please. What's the derivative of 4x plus 1? Let me see. Let's recall our lesson last week. What is the derivative of 4x plus 1? Very good. So u prime becomes 4 because applying our constant multiple rule, 1 lang to times 4 pa rin siya, and then 1 minus 1, 0, and that's equal to 1. And this is, of course, 0. Okay? So it's 4 times 4. There you go. And then just simplify it. G prime of x will be equal to, this time we can only multiply your coefficient to coefficient. So 6 times 4, the answer is 6, 12, 18, 24. So we will have here 24 times 4x plus 1 raised to 5. And that's it. That's already our chain rule or the general power rule. Show me a reaction if that's clear to you. Very good. Ganun lang siya kasimple. That's it. We don't need to go and apply this changing of functions tapos going back. Ayun, sobrang haba. Yung simple na lang. Okay? That's it. Let's have another. Ready? This one. Level up natin ng konti. Ready? Let me erase this now. Again, let's copy our general power rule. Okay. Yan. So now, let's have this example. This looks exciting. You know this already. O kaya, yung medyo kumokomplikado ng konti na given naman. Okay, let's have this. Of course, I will not use this. But better have another example para may multiple examples kayo. Let's have this. Let's try y is equal to the quantity of 5x raised to 4 plus 2x squared raised to 3, for example. Okay, same process. Okay, so we have here the y prime will be equal to your 3 will go there, so that becomes 3. And then copy your u. This time, this is your u. So we will have times 5x raised to 4 plus 2x squared. And then, don't forget to subtract 1 here. So that becomes 3 minus 1. That becomes 2 or squared. Can you follow? We're done with the first part. And then the chain rule, we have to get the derivative of your u. In this case, that is 5x raised to 4 plus 2x squared. So the derivative of that is, type it in the chat box. What is the derivative of your u? Sige nga. Your u here is 5x raised to 4 plus 2x squared. What's the derivative of this? The u prime will be? Okay. Very good. To those who are sending, they are giving me the correct answers, correct? Okay. Okay, correct. But the one who sent me the answer, medyo nakalimutan niya yatang i-multiply yung squared niya. Okay, so let's do this. Multiply, that becomes 20x. Subtract minus 1, that becomes 3. Plus 2 times 2, that becomes 4. X raised to 2 minus 1, that's 1. Or better not write it anymore. Okay, so this will be your du. So that's 20x cubed plus 4x. That's it. And then after that, let's just simplify it. Of course, you cannot distribute 3 to these terms because it is still raised to the second power. Bawal ang mag-distribute ng coefficient sa loob ng parentheses na mayroong exponent. Please remember that. Never, ever do that. So therefore, where can we distribute 3? Only to these terms, because 20x cubed plus 4x do not have other exponent here but 1. So okay lang kung si 1 na lang. Okay? So therefore, the final answer will be y prime will be equal to, let's just have this here, 5x raised to 4 plus 2x squared, quantity squared, times 3 times 20x cubed, that becomes 60x cubed, plus 4 times 3, that's 12x. And we're done. That is the derivative of that given. Show me a reaction if that's clear to you. Very good. Okay. Next. What if level up tayo ng konti sa given? This looks exciting. Okay, ito naka-fraction. Same lang naman kapag fraction. Do you want to have an example like this with square root? Okay, subukan natin. Go. So, we have here again our general power rule. Game. So, basta yung mga dumarating, pasok lang. Let's continue. So we have here, let's use g of x will be equal to square root. The square root of siguro magandang gawin dito ay 3x squared plus 4x. Ayan. Okay? Let's do this. So in here, is this or is this doable by chain rule? Yes. Always remember, if there is this radical sign, okay, patalastas. For example, the square root of x can be rewritten as x raised to 1 over 2. Very good. Why? Because the index here is 2 and there's an exponent here 1. Kapag naka-square root yan or kapag naka-radical yan, the exponent over the index, that becomes your exponent. Take note of that. So thank you to all those who recalled it and sent me via chat box. Correct. Now, so let's just rewrite this. We will have g of x will be equal to 3x squared plus 4x raised to 1/2. Now, this can be solved using the chain rule, or better yet, the general power rule. So we have here g prime of x will be equal to same process. Copy. That becomes 1/2. And then copy your function inside, which is 3x squared plus 4x. And then subtract 1 from your exponent. So that's 1/2 minus 1. Okay? Times. Mamaya na natin i-simplify lahat. Let's do the process first. So we have here our u. Let's get the derivative. What's the derivative of 3x squared plus 4x? Type it in the chat box, please. What is the derivative of 3x squared plus 4x? Type it in the chat box. Let me see. Okay, good. Your classmates are correct. So the derivative is 6x plus 4. That's your du. Okay? And so after that, let's just simplify it further. So this will become g prime of x will be equal to 1/2 times, copy this, 3x squared plus 4x. Okay, now we're here. What about this? How will we do this? So 1/2 minus 1. Okay, so para mas madali, let's make it, let's change 1 to a fraction with the same numerator and denominator. Nakapareho nito since that's 2 to 2. So mas madali. 1 minus 2, that becomes -1 over capital denominator, which is 2. Got it? So therefore, your new exponent will be -1/2. Can you follow? Times 6x plus 4. Okay. Now, how will we do this? Let's simplify this further. This can be rewritten as g prime of x. Just like what I told you, you have here a negative exponent. Last week, we did this. If it's a negative exponent, to make it positive, you put it in the denominator. Okay, no problem. Noted. Okay, so those who just arrived, that's okay. Mahalaga, nakahabol kayo. Yung mga na-miss ninyo, panoorin nyo na lang ulit yung recorded natin. Okay, besides, we're still at the first part. Okay, so let's do this. 1/2, it's a fraction. Lagay na natin si 1 sa numerator, 2 sa denominator. That's just the same. Okay, now look at this. This is a negative exponent. To make it positive, it will go to the denominator and change it to a positive exponent. So this will become 3x squared plus 4x raised to 1/2. Got it? And now, the 6x plus 4 is just a positive 1 exponent. It will never go down, so it will remain in the numerator. So, times 6x plus 4. That's it. And finally, let's just simplify things here. So this will become 1 times 6x plus 4, distributing 1, it's just the same. So we will have here 6x plus 4 over 2. Okay, can you distribute 2 to these terms? Yes or no? Show me a reaction if a reaction of agreement if it is yes, and a reaction of disagreement if not. Can we distribute 2 to these terms inside this parenthesis? Show me an agreement reaction. If you agree, yes, we can distribute it. Or a reaction of disagreement if not. Let me see your answers. Can we distribute 2? Okay. O tating manuma. Okay, what's the answer here? Of course, we cannot. We cannot distribute 2. Why? Because 3x squared plus 4x are raised to an exponent, which is 1/2. So you can never distribute 2 to those terms inside that parenthesis with exponent. Please take note of that. Therefore, it will just remain as 2. Change this now to a radical form, 1/2. So that's square root to square root of 3x squared plus 4x. And this is now the derivative of our given. Got it? Show me a reaction if that's clear to you. Let me see. Let me see if you understood. Very good. Nice. Okay? Ganun lang siya. Paulit-ulit lang. O, this one naman, quotient rule. And then, pwede rin gamitan ng product rule. Do you also want to have examples of quotient rule and product rule for the general power rule? Yes or no? Let me see your reactions. Sir, pasample po or wag na? Okay, let me see. Okay, your classmates are showing thumbs up. O, sige. They want an example wherein we will be applying the concept of product rule alongside with our chain rule. Okay, game. Lagit natin ginagamit si general power rule kasi ito ang magsasalba sa atin from start till the end. Ready? Are you ready to experience how it is to be a college student solving long differentiations? Ready na? Eto na tayo, pero don't worry, this is just easy. Now, before I continue this, our Zoom is about to end. Kindly join again for the continuation. Okay? Tsaka hinga muna ng konti. Okay? Please join again for the continuation.